Joining me on the podcast now is Phil from Consonance, a band which I only recently discovered because of my wife discovering you guys on TikTok and kind of fell in love with you from there. So, how you doing, Phil?
Good, mate. Good. Yourself?
You're not too bad, thank you. Yeah, it's a strange world we live in now where we're discovering bands via TikTok. It's a crazy place.
It is, yeah, it is mental. I think, as I was saying to you before, kind of something that I got to step into myself. I think we've got TikTok, obviously, as you found out, but I think I need to get my own one as well and dive into it and see what it's all about.
Yeah, because literally my wife's got this playlist on Spotify, which we share, and it's just bands discovered via TikTok, and then she's like, "You check these guys out called Continents," and like, I liked the name from the get go, which is rare for me to think that's a quite. It's like a unique name that I thought generally would have been taken a long time ago, and then I was like, decided just playing your guys on shuffle, and I was like, "Yep, this is my vibe. I'm liking this."
Nice, 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 nice. Good, good, good. Yeah. We did. I suppose go away for a little bit, and then came back. So it's kind of we've been around for a little. We've done our dues, I suppose. Paid our dues, been around for a bit. And then yeah, came back and got dragged back into the world of stress.
Yes, because being in a band and just music full stop is, especially nowadays, a lot more difficult than I think just financially. It's
Yeah,
just a minefield nowadays.
yeah, it is. I find it looking back on it now, even though it was stressful back then. I'm finding, even though it's we're kind of lucky at the moment. It's kind of paying for itself kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're kind of but it is still stressful. I don't. I think it's because like I was thinking about this the other day. I was like talking to one of the boys. I was saying before we used to like be able to just step into Europe easy and tour Europe. But obviously it's a lot more difficult now. We haven't been back to Europe since we've been back. We had some stuff booked in, but it got cancelled, unfortunately. But obviously there's a bit of a longer process now since Brexit, and like band fees haven't gone up or anything, so there's no difference there. But I think like because there's so many bands now, because they find that the smaller bands can't get into Europe at the moment unless they're on like a nice agency with a big tour or something, for
Yeah.
example. Then there's a lot more bands fighting in the UK to get shows because especially with venues closing, like the competition. I think for like to get shows is a lot more difficult. I think now.
Also, I think especially with this type of music, so it's metalcore really. I'll just put it kind of in that sort of bubble.
Yeah,
Um, And like yeah, they don't always attract the biggest of shows, so there's those smaller venues that are taking those sort of gigs on and things like that. So yeah, there's fewer and far of them happening. It's just it's really sad because I think musically in the UK we've got some amazing bands,
oh, it's
and actually
fantastic bands.
Wales have some like the last decade or so have come out with some absolute blinders.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Holden Absence and people like that just coming through the ranks and things like that. Like, but it doesn't seem that there's enough places for us to see them. And like it's weird. I say going back to saying discovering on TikTok, but it's weird because I used to discover bands by seeing them live. Supporting someone like supporting my mate's band or whatever. Like that was the way it was, or you'd hear them on the radio. But now it's all completely shifting to just being online, which
Yeah, I feel like with Radio and Rock Show as well, that's kind of gone later on as well. So it's in the early hours. Whereas I think back when we were signed, I think Radio and Rock Show was on after the top 40 maybe. Peak
yeah,
Art,
it,
Peak
it
Art
was
was
for a
on.
while on the
It
Sunday
was,
night.
yeah, and then they moved it up now later again. So it was kind of, and then obviously got Alex Hawk on the show, which is great. I know all those bands, it's great that they get chances and stuff, but it is late at night.
Yeah, so you're just hoping that people go back and re-listen, which is what I think they're hoping for, is just the kind of signpost. Yeah, we do rock music. You can check it out whenever you want via the app or whatever. I think that's kind of where it sits, which kind of is sad because rock and like alternative music has always been my life. Like since I was
Yeah,
a teenager when I first discovered it, and like you said, the rock show was up at one point on like pretty much daytime radio, and then it
yeah,
seems to go in like fluctuations within popularity. And I think kind of at the moment in the popular sort of terms, I think it's definitely not as big as it has been in the past.
It's a weird one. I think it's kind of it does suck like that it's been pushed, I feel, to that late. I don't know, in time maybe it'll change again and come back round. I think Alex Holcomb's doing great things. I think
Yeah,
Danny Carter's done great things as well. And I think it's you know, in time I think in time it'll hopefully come back round and they'll get a better slot again.
yeah. But it's weird saying. I just suddenly thought about it, saying that rock music isn't as popular. You look at Bloodstock, that's sold out for the first time ever
It's
this year.
unreal. It's so good. I mean, watching Bloodstock grow since when it, like, I wouldn't say I wasn't when it first started, but like just watching it go has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, and like the acts, obviously none of them are British headliners, but that doesn't matter because they've got an incredible like Trivium, just insane,
Speaks
and
for
then
itself.
Machine Head are a band that 10 years ago should have been headlining Download. For some reason, it just never happened. So for them to finally be headlining a fest in the UK, I think is awesome.
Yeah, they're a great band. They're a great band. The lineup's massive. I was looking at the bands in between as well on like the main stage. Like I think is Cooper Khan on this one?
Yeah, they're on
Yeah, and then you
Saturday.
got Paleface as well and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool to see those bands on Bloodstock as well. So it's not just classed as like, a metal fest.
Yeah,
They are metal, but but
well,
it's
it's the one place. Well, not the one place in the UK, but it's the biggest I think in the UK for like the subgenres to get a decent slot and a decent position.
yeah, I feel like I didn't think I'm not sure if Bloodstock. I mean, looking back at the lineups, I could be wrong, but I feel like the lineup is broadened, shall we say.
Yeah, I think yeah, it has to because it's grown and stuff like that.
So good.
So for people like, pretty much actually like myself who kind of are discovering you guys now on this time round that you've been out, where's best to kind of start listening to you guys from? Because I've just been putting you on shuffle, but is there like a particular album or a couple of songs that you think start with these and you'll be fine?
I would say from Preacher onwards, maybe. Because I feel I mean, when I'll take it back a little bit
Yeah,
without boring everyone. So we got signed to Victory Records back in the day, and long story short, we got signed. Some guy, A&R got us signed. Told them that we had an album. We didn't have an album, so they were like, within a couple of months of being signed, they were like, "We need you in the studio," and we were like, "We haven't got an album." So we recorded this. We wrote and recorded an album within less than 2 months, and so then that album, we went to the studio in September. That album's like, yeah. So that album came out as Idle Hands, and then we did another album, Reprisal. I feel like those albums were kind of vocally for me. I never set out to be like in a signed band or like I just wanted to do it for shits and giggles.
yeah,
And then it just kind of escalated from there. So I felt like I had to like work on my technique and stuff like that, because otherwise I was doing tours for like 30 days and I kind of just burnt out. Just couldn't talk at the end of them. I had no technique. People enjoyed it for some reason, which I'm happy with. Thank you. But at the time, we've done like 10-year anniversary on that album as well, which is great. It's sold out and stuff when we came back a couple of times, and it is also it is awesome, and it's a great time back then. Like it took us all over Europe, Japan, that type of stuff. Um, but I think going forward, I would say where I think we really found ourselves was Preacher onwards. It was kind of I feel comfortable as a vocalist. I feel I was still learning then, but if you look at Preacher, Bad Blood, Clarity, and then our newest EP, Lifeline, um, that like Lifeline is for me was a big step up.
yeah.
I think it's got it it captures everything I think what we're about.
So you just said then that you never wanted to be in a signed band. You just kind of wanted to be in a band. So is
I
that still the vibe now, or is it?
I how can I say? I was just that guy that just wanted to perform. I used to basically, I don't even know what I was writing lyrics wise. None of it really made sense. It's kind of if people connected with it, they connect. I was like, oh, I like that line. I like that
Yeah,
line. But now I've got a lot more thought in the process of everything that I do as well. I think I only ever wanted to be in a hardcore band. You see, I grew up on hardcore, and I've never been in a hardcore band. And still to this day, like I'd love to be in a hardcore band because I just love the energy and the passion in it. Do you mean? Like bands like Have Heart, Hope Conspiracy, my favorite type of bands. But when I loved being in like continents from the start and everything, but it just got a little bit too serious for me. And I think sometimes, I think when you're that person that's carrying the weight, it does because it's not as enjoyable. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because everything is normally put on the front guy.
Yeah, I kind of like the boys were really I felt were in it and were enjoying it. I took a step back and I realized the other day like it was great, but I was kind of like it was very tiring and stressful. Even though we had managers and agents, I was still doing stuff in the background to yeah. But
So is it different this time around? Then you kind of
yeah, I can kind of yeah and no. I think yeah, it has been. It hasn't been recent. I think our drummer at the moment, he's currently sessioning for Holding Absence. So he's very busy at the moment. And we've written a load of music. I can't tell you how many songs we've written last year, probably about 30 odd songs. Like, so we got loads of stuff ready to go. We've just done one single now with a video and that. So that's gonna be coming out soon. But it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff being thrown at us, but we're kind of like, it's just like, give me 5. Once I know his diary, I can give him and come back to you type of thing.
so also you're kind of doing your own pace as well this time around, and kind of going,
Yeah,
this is what
it's
we want
nice.
to do.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't got a label breathing down our necks. And it it would be nice to like have an agency to take the weight off, but I'm kind of just taking whatever comes into the inbox rather than me going around just chasing stuff
Yeah.
like you used to. So it's just nice to just enjoy it, I think. Take and just yeah. We've been kind of lucky since coming back. It's been loads of sold out shows, great shows up and down the country and stuff. We got cool festivals for this year. Yeah, so I'm very grateful with everything.
So obviously, as being in a band that was signed and also now doing it independently, what was are there major benefits to being signed nowadays, or do you think actually the way the world has kind of worked, that actually being independent is just, especially for this type of music, where you don't have, you're not fighting for the biggest stages in the world, you're not trying to play the O2 and places like that, so it's not as involved. Does it make a difference having a label or not?
I don't know. I think yeah and no. I think I've seen it before. Like, from my opinion, like I remember when we released Preacher, it was a real bit weird one. Preacher got like is one of our biggest songs with like plays wise on Spotify at the moment. Pegasus is our biggest track because, but that got taken down on Spotify because there was a dispute between Victory and Spotify at the time, so our plays got reset. But when Preacher came out, it ended up on one of these Spotify playlists, which was cool, and it gained a lot of traction on it. But I always find it interesting because even though that was our biggest track at the time, no one knew the song. So we played all these shows, but no one's ever. Every time we played that song, no one's ever sung it, and I always find that very strange.
Yeah.
I kind of think, and it was on one of the big playlists because it was like, I think it's great. I think every band wants to be on the playlist because it's wax it up and wax up everything. But I think what I'm noticing now as well is the labels are taking. I could be wrong. Like I think how I see it is like the labels have come back now and are kind of like getting more control of these playlists. So you see the bands getting signed to get on the playlist. The labels are making. If I think they kind of, I don't know. Whereas before it wasn't like that. When we got on the playlist, it was kind of like we weren't signed or anything,
Okay.
and it wasn't playlist. I don't think there was that many playlists around at those times. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's my take on it. I think it's kind of good to be on a label now, just because they've kind of, but you can still do it without. There's still massive ways of doing without, especially if you know how to work the algorithm and sponsored ads. I mean, there's a band like what's the band? Is it As December Falls?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they're a very good example of not being signed and doing what they've done with like paid ads and good content and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the way. It's the kind of the way we are now.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you can capture that and smash it, I think you can do a great job. So as I said, it doesn't necessarily need a label, but I do think they are coming back round
Yeah.
slowly.
So let's kind of just take it back to like the sort of beginning. So what was like the initial inspirations for you guys? Because obviously you said you were like hardcore, you know. So how did you get drawn into Continents?
I was on a band. I was in a band before. We'll never name that band. I shouldn't really say that because um, we were doing okay at the time, and the boys, we were a bunch of the boys are on the starting up a band, and they showed me some stuff, and it was kind of like there was a few beat downs in it, and I kind of was just like, yeah, I'm vibing this, and maybe it'll go further down that route. It didn't. It kind of stayed at metal, done the metalcore thing, which wasn't the end of the world. I enjoyed it. As I said, I was having fun with it. It was great.
Yeah.
This is like 2010 maybe when we were like super young. So and then we started playing shows towards the end of 2010, 2011, and then we were signed in 2012. So it happened quite quickly. So we were quite
Yeah.
with Victory and stuff.
So like have the inspiration for songwriting and things like has that changed coming back this time round?
Yeah, I think it was. I think back then, if you got hold of the demos, it was like stuff kind of like influences um like Architects influences and stuff like that on the early demos. Before any of the stuff really came out, before like Trials and Pegasus and stuff like that. But this time around, I think on the Lifeline EP, I can say like there's elements we've taken from like I think influences from Underoath slightly. It's quite melodic in parts as well. It's quite more. I concentrated on when I wrote the lyrics. I kind of wanted people to latch on to every like the Lifeline single. I kind of wanted people to feel what kind of the journey that I was going on throughout that song.
Yeah.
It's kind of it tells a story as well with the music video, which is something that was quite cool to be involved in with regards to helping with direct the video as well and stuff like that. So it's nice to be more hands on, shall we say, with the creative process because I'm not very musical. I don't play any instruments. I just write and scream and hope for the best. But this time it was kind of nice to like not have the pressure and just kind of be involved, more hands on, I suppose, with the boys. Yeah.
So what is actually your favorite lyrics that you've ever written then? What's your like favorite line?
Ooh, I would say the entire Lifeline EP has got everything that I'm proud of. What we've written. From the Lifeline single, I think I'm trying to remember now. When you're on stage, you can just like it just comes out just like that. And then when you're kind of just like someone asks you, you're like, oh, okay. Like I'm just trying to think now. Yeah, so I'll say the breakdown in Lifeline. So the world that we live in is broken. There's no escaping the shit that is spoken. Either cut them out or tell them how it fucking is. I think that's one of my favorite lines.
I like that. That
It's
is
kind of
direct.
It's direct, and I think it kind of speaks a few home truths. I think but as I said, that whole song, if you listen for it from the lyrics, when it kicks in, it just tells a whole journey from my life. But we've had a lot of people reach out to us, which is nice. I think that people are able to connect with it in any way, for them, and if it helps them, that's great.
I always find that really interesting as well, especially with lines like that, because I can see it being taken in several different sort of ways and mean to different people. And I love that about music, the fact that it can mean so much and be so different for people. Because I'm guessing it's not always going to be someone says to you, "Oh, that means X, Y, Z to me," and you'll be like, "That's not what I wrote it as." But
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think with this, I mean what this song does is, I think as well, as kind of, it takes you on quite a melodic journey, kind of as if you're talking to yourself when you listen to the lyrics. And then it builds up, and then it's got this like chorus of like as if you just stood there and then just imagining people walking around you really fast type of thing. That's how I see it in my head. It's a kind of like the wheels moving by you, but you're just stood there like a ghost type of thing, that type of thing. And then that middle of the song, what I said about that, when you watch the music video, it goes all red and the anger kicks in, and then it comes back down, and it's like um it's quite a dramatic ending then as well. So
yeah. So is this because obviously you said before lyrics didn't really particularly not that they didn't matter at the start when you first started
yeah,
out, but like now they is it quite cathartic for you to actually write and like kind of put yourself out there, and is it and make yourself a little bit vulnerable really with your stories and things?
yeah, 100%. I think I was one of those people that kind of, you get a, how can I say this without being, I've suffered with my mental health a lot. It's, there's a moment that I probably, I ended up in hospital. I probably wouldn't be here, basically,
Yeah.
that way, like without going too much into it.
No.
I'm supported quite well for certain things as well. I kind of like up and down sometimes, but yeah, so I get a tongue tied. The I see a lot of bands, and a lot of people talk about it and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just like, oh, I don't want people thinking this is a gimmick. Like I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I don't, I want to kind of be open, but I just don't. I'm not saying that people do it for that, but it's a case of like so many people. I'm just like, oh, maybe there's something else I could touch on. But then one of the boys was just like, no, I think it's time for you to be open. Like just try it, just do it, and then yeah, it was really therapeutic, and it's been nice and being able to connect with people at shows through it. We've turned up at venues as of last year when we were on tour, and had letters sent to the venues, which is really cool,
Yeah.
about how Lifeline has helped them, which is never had that before. So it, really do appreciate everything, that, whether it connects with people on in whichever way.
Yeah. I think because I've been in a similar sort of position as you years ago, and like I don't know what I think with metal music or just alternative music, people are drawn to it because there's that like that level of expression I don't think you get with a lot of other music. Like you can throw every emotion into metal, whether that's happy, sad, like anger, like you could one song could do it all, you know. And like because I always used to say that the very first Slipknot album came out when I was like 14 or something,
Yeah,
and like it kind of just emphasized that unexplained feeling that I had, that like rage against the world. I had like I didn't know how to process it. That album kind of spoke to me like this is how you're feeling. Like just it's fine to feel like that, but like just this is how you deal with it. Like yeah, and I think a lot of bands mental health is a big deal, and I think a lot of people are drawn. Like, I don't know why. I think people are drawn to metal because it is a cathartic experience. It is like you can just let yourself go. When like you go to a show and there's 200, 300, 400 people just screaming words, and you just let it all out, and it's just one of those things like everyone can
yeah, and
just
I think that's why I
go.
think I really connected with the hardcore scene back when I was younger. I think you kind of just you just feel like, oh, this is just like just really just going with it, connecting with the bands, and just the energy is just was just crazy. But like as I said, I think it's definitely been therapeutic and definitely been eye opening. I think I'm just such an overthinker that I kind of just like, I don't know how people are going to take this. Like, I'm not very one that likes to open up on Facebook, but I think the boys have said now, kind of like it. It. I don't have to be like well open. I just need to be within the music. I think, and that's what I think. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, man. I'm not very good. I said that sounds like
No,
a bit.
no, that's completely fine. Like I completely get it. You kind of I stumble over myself all
Yeah,
the time, especially talking about this sort of stuff because it's real. It's raw. Like,
It is, yeah, it is. But yeah, it's been great. It's been a great journey since it's come out. We've been very lucky, very fortunate because we didn't release any music last year. It all came out, and it's just it's just grown and grown and grown. We've, like I said, we've had um lots of sold out shows, um, lots of cool shows, and yeah, it's been a great journey so far, and I'm just excited to get this new stuff out now.
yeah, so is that the plan for the rest of this year? You said you got a couple of festivals coming up.
Yeah,
Are they UK festivals?
yeah, all UK at the moment. We got Radar Fest. Um, so we got Radar Fest in July. We just announced Noise Fest today. Um, with people. Modern Era Fest as well in London with Heart of a Coward. So that's like, I think the plan is for that is we've done a few London shows now. I think we're going to try and come back after that then and maybe hopefully do a London headliner. I think it's back time now to take that risk and step into London and do a headliner. And we're announcing one tomorrow. So it's not going to matter if I talk about it now. Which is going to be an interesting one, basically. But it's going to be Southwest Suplex. Basically, the we're playing. The lineup is really cool. It's the type of lineup that I really enjoy. But we're going to stand up like Soul From. It's basically a bunch of hardcore and beatdown bands. So, but we're on like really high up. So it's going to be like we're probably the only digital band on there because we got like no bass and backing track as well and certain things. So it's going to be, but I think it could be cool. I think it make us it's nice. I'm gonna have fun with it anyway. If we're playing with like some of my friends' bands like Pint Glass and stuff like that and Overpower, so it should be cool.
Also, I think it's sometimes quite nice when you're at a festival and there is a band that is slightly different to the rest, but still kind of fits in with the whole vibe of the thing. Because it's like a palate cleanser. Because otherwise, if it's just straight hardcore all day, like maybe by the end, you go, I do like hardcore, but it's just a bit much now.
Yeah, I did say to the boys, I said we should open up with one of the Machine Head songs for a laugh.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. But just open up with a nice fat riff, just get the crowd going, and then just straight back into our music and bring the mood back down.
So actually, what is your favorite riff that you guys have done?
Oh, favorite riff. That's one for the boys actually. For me, listening, I mean, I do like, I wouldn't say it's a massive riff. I do like the intro to Lifeline and the intro to Hurricane. Um, but then Gritted Teeth, oh, you catch me, yeah. Gritted Teeth, I'll say Gritted Teeth. Gritted
Okay.
Teeth, the intro, it's like, it's kind of, yeah, it's a bit different to the rest of the songs. It's kind of got like that Comeback Kids, bit of like While She Sleeps, and a bit of yeah, bit of Cancer Bats vibe as well, kind of thing.
Nice.
Just a little bit different.
So obviously, yes, obviously we got some festivals coming up and things like that. You obviously got 30 songs in the bank, pretty much ready to go. So what is kind of the aspiration for you guys? Like, because you said before, obviously, it was just you liked playing shows, obviously, then you got signed, things like that. And nowadays, you kind of do it on your own terms. So, kind of, what is the like sort of end goal? Is it just to, obviously, it's self funding itself, which is great because that it takes a lot of pressure off of things. So, is that kind of it's like you want to keep it just going like that, or do you want to try and push it and get it as big as it can be?
Yeah, well, like we want to push it, but at the same time, it's kind of how can I say we've had a couple of obstacles, and kind of friends come first at the end of the day. Kind of needs support, like and stuff. There's also I don't know how can I say we will be looking to like push it. We are going to be submitting out to stuff kind of because we do want to kind of uh, start branching out a bit more. Because I feel like the potential's there. I think when we originally came back, I'll be straight up with you. I didn't want to come back. So 2019, I'll say 2019, we played our final show. It was sold out. It was cool. Ended on a massive high. I don't, you could barely hear me singing in there, which is really, really, so it was so cool. But the boys the next day were like, oh, they wanted to do something. And they were like, you're the only vocalist we know in South Wales. And I was like, yeah, but I told her I'm stepping away. I don't want to do this anymore. I kind of just want to concentrate and I'll concentrate on me. Yeah. You mean a bit of me time. I said, give me a bit of time. I said, I'll have a think. But I said, if we come back, I want to come under a new name. I don't want anything associated with the band. I just want to be rebranded. So there's no pressure again. And then we were going to do that. We wrote a load of music. One of the boys stepped away because he was busy teching and stuff like that, which is fair enough. And then one of the boys was like, no, we got to come back as Continents. So yeah, it came back as Continents, and I was just like, oh, no pressure then. But it's kind of like what I've said is like with the rebranding and stuff is kind of like I wanted to make sure that people know that this is the new era. So it's like, welcome to the Lifeline era. So this is kind of what I feel is like the new era of the band. I mean, we only play a couple of old songs anyway. It's all new stuff now, which is great. I think we've been quite lucky. Like some bands are only like, when they come back, it's kind of like their old catalog is kind of recycled and stuff like that. But I think we've been kind of lucky with people latching onto the new stuff, and we're able to like slowly push out the older stuff, but maybe just bring it back for like headliners or here.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like I said, when I first, like my wife first showed me you and just played you, I was like, I really like this vibe. I just really got down with it. I just really enjoyed it. It's exciting to hear that you're doing it at your desire. It's not nothing forced, which I think as soon as you start forcing music, it kind of takes the heart out of it. So, and I love that, and I love the fact that you're now writing personally as well, and you're connecting more with it, and I love the fact that fans are writing letters. That's actually that's beautiful. That's just wonderful. The people that actually take the time out to do that. It's just really cool.
No, thank you. It's nice, and it's nice when people like yourself like want to dive into a little bit and ask a few questions and stuff. Like I said, I'm kind of I'm kind of a nervous and a shy person and stuff like that. So I'm kind of as I said, I do everything. So it is kind of nice to do these type of things because it does help as well. And it's always cool to give it a bit of background and stuff like that on where we are. I mean, my influences kind of don't always shine into it. Like I said, I'm kind of like, I don't know, like if I used to listen to a kind of a lot of like Trustkill Records, like Hellfest DVD and stuff like that, and Drive Through Records bands. That's what I grew up on. So yeah, that's kind of, I was listening like, that's kind of vibe I listen to quite a lot for nostalgia and stuff like that.
Right, that's cool. Thank you so much, Phil, for your time. It's been really cool. So, like Continents, we can catch you at a couple of festivals, and then hopefully, I'm assuming London's probably the closest you come towards Southampton for a while. So, if you do that headliner in London, we'll definitely try and get along for that because
nice, yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I think, as I said, next London show is Modern Era Fest at March. Is when we come back with we'll have loads of new music by then as well, and we're working on some tours now to announce to go with it as well.
That's amazing. It sounds like a really exciting time. And I'm really glad that my wife went, check these guys out. And I actually listened to her for once.
Yeah, tell us you got great taste.
I will do. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thanks again. Take care. Look after yourself.
You too.